Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, so we're coming live from South Africa, live on TikTok, live on YouTube, you guys. I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. Welcome to the HerbMan Show. All we do simply here is teach people how to heal themselves. And you cannot heal yourself if you do not know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. All right. So this is a free information station. Y'all ain't got to pay for nothing. Just sit back, turn the phone up, put me on your a Bluetooth or screen me on your TV and watch how we show you how to take your healing back into your own hands. And we're not just talking about healing you physically. We're talking about healing you mentally. We're talking about healing you spiritually, emotionally. We're talking about healing you financially. And ultimately, we're talking about healing you socially so that we can understand our value in this particular paradigm in which we call life. And I'm going to teach you guys today something very simplistic on how to start to recover yourself in your time of need. All right. We got to start learning how to do these practical things, and we got to know that they're easy to do, but somebody got to be able to show you how to program these activities in you. You deprogram them out. We need to reprogram them in. The things that you go through in life will deprogram you, but we need to reprogram you with something that has a better defense system than the one you got programmed with. And so the thing about this is that you must understand what actually is taking place when you get sick and what is taking place when you get healed. What is taking place when you are broken and when you have come in with a whole bunch of traumatic events happen to you. What happens to you is somebody is taking the very valuable thing that you don't understand in life. They're dimming it, and it's called light. The sun ain't never been about the brightness. It's been about the light constituting heat. Okay. The sun has never been about the brightness. It's always been about the heat because the heat is expansive. Okay. The sun is so many miles away, as you can see, but you still feel the heat. So the heat, not the light so much, but the heat. The light is for you to understand where the heat comes from. The source of the heat comes from the light. But you are downloading and absorbing and reflecting this light. Now, the biggest thing you need to understand is that everything about you absorbs the light, all the way down to your cells, your atoms, your molecules, atoms, and then you got molecules, you got cells, you got all these cells, you got tissues, organs, right? So it just goes from the smallest finite on up to the biggest thing, and then it comes from the biggest thing all the way down to the finite. Everything uses light. Everything uses light. The reason you say, well, how is everything using light? Remember that you have a light spectrum. You don't know, you ain't never seen no color on the light spectrum other than light, right? But you see me in green and black. You see your skin color. You see the foods outside because why? We are absorbing the light and we are reflecting it. Now, the darker your skin, you reflect more light. The lighter your skin, you absorb more light. Okay, so the darker your pigmentation is, you are a reflector of the light, which is why they call us the children of the light, because you, as a child, you reflect the image of your parents. Okay, so the darker the skin, you reflect the light, and the lighter the skin, you absorb the light. Both are great qualities, and both have their goods and their bads. All depends on if you don't know how to balance. If you're extreme in absorbing, you got a problem. If you're extreme in reflection, you got a problem. Now, here is the thing. I'm gonna make this very simple so Rico them can understand. Because I still do this for Rico them on the block. Okay, you got the sun, right? And you got the rays. And then we're just gonna look at this as ocean water. Okay, let's just look at this as the ocean. Okay. What's happening here is light. Now, look at what I'm trying to get you to understand. The light is being reflected off the water from the ocean and creating temperature, which in this world we're going to call it heat. Okay. the light, all right, is being reflected and absorbed. Okay, it's been absorbed and reflected from the ocean, creating temperature, which in this case is going to equal heat. Okay, so we are absorbing this. So the waters, you're 75% water, just like the earth. You're 75% water. So this pertains to you, but I'm using it so that you can understand outside of you what's happening, so you can understand what's going on the inside. So the ocean, 75% of the earth's water is absorbing and reflecting the light from the sun, creating temperature, which is what you would call hot or cold. Okay, the same thing is going on in your body, because I just described to you that all the cells, all the way down to the atom, is opening up for photons. Photons are messenger particles that are coming from the light. You are absorbing light down into atom. So in the beginning, it was nobody, and then God breathed life into Adam. He made him from the clay, but it was on a daytime. And that day is telling you about the light. Okay, the light. So God represents the light. Jesus represents the light, because we need for you to understand where it's coming from. Your cells are absorbing this light and then converting it. Now, you're going to find this light in your foods. So you're going to convert your foods too. So when I say light, it's light coming from everywhere. Okay, your atoms, your cells are absorbing the light from your food, and they got to convert this light over into heat energy. Now, here's the cool fact. Up to 60% of the energy that you get from food is heat energy. It ain't even for work of the cell. Up to 60% of the energy that your body is getting from your food sources and all this stuff is used as heat energy, not for work. So what's happening is you're losing heat sources, light energy in certain parts of your body, which is creating these diseases. If you kept your body warm, now let me tell y'all something. Cholesterol, I know I got some folks watching today, so I'm gonna say this because it's gonna help somebody. Cholesterol is a fat. Cholesterol is a fat-based substance. Me and you both know that if you leave chicken grease on the stove overnight and you come back, it's going to be cool and it will solidify. We both know that if you leave coconut oil in a cool place, it's going to solidify. So these are little examples of the consistency of cholesterol. So if you had heat energy, it wouldn't solidify. Okay? If you had enough heat energy going through your body, it wouldn't solidify. Now let me show you how to move the heat energy. Okay, that's what we want to do. This is why this is going to be easy. And then after this, you guys, you keep tapping out, keep talking. After this, you guys, we will get into a Q&A. If you guys got questions about your issues, your diseases, whatever you want to do, we'll get into that after I get finished with this particular thing. So let's get us up to 50K real quick, so that we can get into question and answers, okay? Let's get us up to 50K real quick. Let's get us up to Q&A. I know a lot of people got questions. They want to know. They got their owner's manual. They got the owner's manual herbs. They're dealing with certain things in life, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. They need somebody to talk to. We want to open up and start to what my old lady call engagement Sundays, all right? So we're going to be a little bit more engaging with the people and interacting with you guys, because I really want to know the pulse of what you're going through. Right? If it's a financial issue, if it's a marital issue, if it's a single issue, if it's a friend issue, if it's an enemy issue, if it's a violent issue, if it's a sexual issue, if it's a financial issue, if it's whatever it is that if it's a spiritual question, a religious question, whatever it is, we want you to be able to have an outlet before you go do the thing that'll take your life away. And a lot of times you got to understand that you still have that option. Before you go rob the bank, you need somebody to call me. Before you go do it, because I didn't have nobody to call before I did my stuff. And I wish I did. I just needed somebody else that could pick up the phone at the last minute and say, boy, bring your ass over here, don't do that shit. Come on over here, cuz. Yeah, we'll chill out over here, brother. We don't trick yourself out the street. So we want to be able to open up that and be that for our community. Okay, we want to be able to be that. If the doctor said something to you and you need 3 opinions, let me be one of them. If the pastor said something to you and it just didn't sit right, then let me be able to usher you into an understanding of that spiritual thing. But my point is to you is understand that you got somebody to call before that last decision is made to give up. On your deathbed, in your pocketbooks, whatever you state you may be in, whatever state you may be in, I want you to know that there's a number that you can call right before you give your life away, because you don't have to do it. And sometimes we need to have somebody that can help us out of that hole. And sometimes it may not be the hole physically that we need to do so much of the helping. It needs to be the hole mentally that they got themselves stuck in. All right, so now you understand that the body and the light and the waters within you, okay, are being absorbed, and they are reflecting and they are creating heat energy. We also understand that up to 60% of the food that I eat is used for heat energy, not work. So your body is constantly creating this heat energy. Now, what are some of the sources of the heat energy? Well, we know your liver produces the heat energy. Well, your liver, when I keep trying to tell y'all, your body comes with your own medicine. Your body comes with your own medicine. You don't need to outsource anything. You go into the doctors and get medications and get more chemicals. Why? You are inundated with some of the most powerful chemicals on the planet, and you got them in the inside of you. There's no need to bring any inorganic thing in. You just need to learn how to push the button to create the medicine that you need for yourself. It's within you. And some of you guys, we just been taught, see, we don't know as much as we need to know about biology. We just been taught hormones do this, but you don't know what them things do to heal you. You don't know what your hormones do to heal you. You don't really know a half of what this stuff goes on that got healing properties. And your liver is one of those things that can produce some of the most diabolical chemicals that can kill anything in your blood. You talking about I got a blood virus. That means that your liver ain't working right. You talking about I got something in the blood. They found something in my blood. I went down there and took a blood test and they found something in my blood. Bacteria, herpes virus, AIDS virus, all this type of stuff. They got to find it in your blood in order for you to be diagnosed with it. Can't nothing go and live through this shit unless this ain't working properly. Because this liver is the one that gives out the microorganisms. It's the one that produces the chemicals to keep that blood clean. So if you're keeping herpes, keeping these viruses coming through the body, you need to take a look at the liver. All right, but that liver is producing heat, right? We know that the brain produces heat. Okay, we know that the what else we got? The muscles producing heat, right? Okay, I might have screwed up my muscles, right? But we know that the muscles liver, brain, muscles, the heart. Okay. All right. These are just a few of the particular organs that are producing heat inside of you. Now, also that's producing heat is the thyroid. Well, that has something to do with the increasing of heat. The thyroid T3 and T4 increases the heat energy in the body. That helps you break your metabolic rate, right? So your metabolic rate, if the heat increases, you'll see you stay skinny. You didn't know that, did you? Another thing that happens is brown body fat. Okay, brown body fat, or what they call brown adipose tissue. So if you're a baby or an adult, 9 times out of 10, you got some brown adipose tissue. Now, how does brown adipose tissue increase heat energy in my body? Well, what it does is it can use the calories that you're intaking and convert those calories over to heat energy. This fat can use calories to convert heat in your body. This is what they call non-shivering thermogenesis, okay? Non-shivering thermogenesis, meaning you ain't got to shake and do the muscle thing to create heat, because this right here is creating it on its own, something you ain't got nothing to do, okay? So I'm just giving you some stuff to understand how to create heat in your body. If I tell you that this stuff is creating heat, you better pay attention, okay? So now, what else do we got that can produce heat? Also, you got adrenaline, right? You got adrenaline or norepinephrine. That also will increase the heat in the body because it's got you on the go, got you going, right? With the muscles going. So now you understand that these are a few things. Now, here is the whole caveat to this. If you got too much heat in your body, okay? If you're producing too much heat, if you're producing too much heat, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Somebody talk to me. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Yes, sir. You know, I got to teach y'all today, man. It's Sunday. I got to teach you today. You know that. We got to learn how to get back in tune with nature. And I'm not going to rest on you guys. I'm going to make sure that I am tapping you on the shoulder because it is just your duty to understand this and to get back into nature. I don't want to be the only one. Okay? I want to live with you in heaven. Not to be the only one in hell. I'd rather be with you goddamn in hell than be the only one in heaven. Because it's meant for us to enjoy this as a community. It meant for us to enjoy this as a community. So we must share and really how you heal yourself. Too much heat, right? Too much heat is going to mean what, you guys? We know that it's a bad thing, but too much heat is going to lead to inflammation. Okay? Too much heat in the body is going to lead to inflammation. Okay, so when it leads to inflammation, then we know that inflammation is an immune response. So now immune response, too much of an immune response. A lot of you guys are overly stimulated immune systems. You got allergies, you got sinuses, you got asthma, you got all these different things. You can't go outside for 5 minutes. You can't eat this. You can't eat that. I got a nut allergy. I got a this allergy because your ass ain't been outside. Okay, and so the bottom line is you haven't strengthened your immune system to be as defensive and get back into balance the way it needs to. So you have this chronic stress on the immune system that's going to create inflammation, but over time that's creating too much heat. So therefore, when you find that pain in your back and that pain here that won't go away, that's a chronic inflammatory issue, but that's also a chronic immune response. Okay, believe that. And that means that there's a lot of debris and waste happening at that area because they're trying to put the pain out for you, right? With your own painkillers you got on the inside of you. And so now they're trying to put the pain out and it won't go away because of your diet, your lifestyle, or whatever you're doing, aiding to it. And the thing about it is that stays like that every day, all day. Then guess what? You got a lot of debris, a lot of waste in your blood. And so people don't know about waste removal as much as they need to. So you retain a lot of this waste, and there goes the baby with the bathwater. All right. Too little heat. Right? Too little heat. Obviously, you're going to get the mucus and the stagnation. All right. Okay, too little heat and stagnation. Now, all you got to do is look at your body and look at your disease and just ask yourself, which side of these do you think you're on? Okay, which side of these do you think you're on? This would be the acids. Okay, this would be the alkalines, right? But we know that there is a very critical point of heat energy that has to be taken into to account. When you're dealing with your thermal regulation, there's only a small window, okay, for differentiation. So therefore, all you have here is 98.6 degrees, okay, 98.6 degrees, and you can only go from 7.2 to 7.4. That's all you can do for your body's pH and your body's temperature. Your body's pH and your body's temperature, your body's heat. Listen to what I'm saying. Your body's pH and your body's temperature. pH is potential hydrogen. We're talking about the waters, acid, alkaline, and your body's temperature, 98.6 degrees. So you'll see that the light, the heat, and the water is creating the environment. And yesterday and the days before, I've been trying to get you to understand that you heal by changing the environment. The cells will mutate. The environment influences the the functionality of the cell. It influences the life of the cell. It influences everything about that cell. The environment is the one that's going to give it instructions on what's necessary. Just like here, okay, just like out in your world, the environment is going to produce in itself its own answers to its own issues. You just got to keep that environment there for that particular pattern of events to continue to happen in your life. Again, let me say that one more time, because this is on YouTube. If you missed this, you can go on YouTube and get this. Your body already comes with a particular design to live and die, or to generate and regenerate, right? So you already have this cycle that's already happening. All you got to do is keep the environment going for that to happen, and that'll happen forever. That's an everlasting cycle of degeneration and regeneration, of cell death, cell birth. That's an everlasting process. So if you understand what I'm telling you, is you keep the environment conducive to the pattern of change that you got going on. As long as you do that, you're fine. But when you get too extreme, because you want to be eating and living too acidic lifestyle, been around too acidic people, having too much of an acidic traumatic events happening in your life, and therefore you're under chronic stress, under chronic inflammatory issues, under chronic pain, under chronic hurt. Hurt and pain ain't always about a back, so it ain't always about a foot pain. Hurt and pain could be emotionally hurt and pain, emotionally inflamed, mentally infected, mentally chronically under tremendous amounts of stress. And if your environment is creating this inflammatory environment, then yes, you will burn. Okay? You will burn. You will burn. Inflammation means immune response. Also, it means infection. Okay? So you got to be careful about this. All right? So now that you see this, now you can start looking at your disease and you say, which end am I on? If I'm under chronic pain, chronic hurt, if I'm under chronic pain and chronic hurt, if I'm hurting somewhere in my body, and if I'm in pain somewhere in my body, I don't care if it's due to arthritis, I don't care if it's due to spondylitis, I don't care if it's due to whatever itis, it is an inflammatory. That means that there's some hurt there. There's some pain. Pain in your body is pain in your life. Hurt in your life, you'll hurt somebody. So it's not about what we're eating, it's about what's eating us. Okay? So now you start to categorize your problem. So when y'all come up on the live here in a second, when we get to 50,000 likes and you're asking your questions, we're going to start putting these things in categories. What if you told me that issue, which umbrella is it under? Therefore, we'll know what we do. If you too hot, we need to cool you down. If you too cool, we need to heat you up. Okay? So stagnation. What is stagnation? Obstructions. So if you're dealing with obstructions and blockages, if you're dealing with, no matter what they call it, it's been blocked by calcium and calcification there. It looks like it's a little debris there. It looks like it's a little plaque. Look like it's little cyst there. It doesn't matter. That's stagnation. Okay, that's blockages. That's stuff not moving in the proper way. So you got obstructions, you got stagnations, you got all of that. That's going to create the what? Because if you're blocking the heat energy, the flow, then that's creating the cooling. Listen to what I'm saying. If you are blocking heat energy from flowing properly, then therefore you're doing that. So now you got to understand what happens to do that. So you got vasodilation. So in order to vasodilation, the expansion of the blood vessels create more heat energy. So if I wanted to put heat back into you, I would need to vasodilate you. A really quick thing, when you guys are on your deathbed, or when you with your loved ones, or when you're in hospice, or whatever y'all want to call it, you got babies sick, whatever, you need to have about 10 people. Okay? You need to have about 10 people. Now, I used to say 5 people. And 5, if all you got is 5, that'll do, but you at least need 5. But you need 10 people. Okay? And you need to have somebody put their hands on both sides of your head, right? So there'll be somebody at your head covering your ears, right? It'll be a person at both of your hands, okay? So that's 3 people right there, right? Then you'll have somebody rubbing the chest. Then you have somebody over your stomach, okay? So that's what 5 people right there. Then you got 2 people on your leg, and then 2 people on your feet, okay? And what we're doing simply, especially when they're in the hospital, because it's too cold in there for somebody to get over something. You done gave me medications and you cooling me down, and I know that I'm a light being and I'm supposed to produce heat energy. Why in the hell do you got this AC on too much? They gonna tell you because of the spread of disease. That's fine, because that's true, but it's also underbelly. It's doing the opposite of what you need to be done in your time of need. That's why I try to tell y'all to go outside. You need to get out of that goddamn hospital. Let them wheel you out, roll you out, let them carry you out, let them take you out however you need to. They're going to, whatever it need to happen, you need to get out of that hospital. That's a part of your treatment. You need to get out of that schoolhouse. It's a part of your school, your education. You need to get out of that job. It's a part of your 8 hours. It's a part of your wellness of your 8 hours. Ain't no need of you having no human resources and you don't know how to resource the humans. So you must understand that humans work better when they get a time out in green space. That humans and the healing process of humans work better when they get a time out of medication and the working and the bill paying and the fussing and fighting with your motherfucking ass. They got to retreat for a minute and then they rebuild themselves back up. Okay, so we know that outside of something always helps you. Always helps you. But if you get these 5 to 10 people, they got to massage the hell out you to try to create heat in your feet, in your legs, in your arms, in your stomach, digestive system, in your chest cavity, your lungs, in your arms, in your muscles. We're trying to create heat. The very things I just told you to create heat, we're trying to create heat in your brain. So I got somebody, so that means that your hands can't be cold, Sister Teresa. Ain't better them. You got to come in there with hot hands. You got to come in there with them holy hands. They got to have the Holy Ghost. They got to be on fire. Ain't that what they're going to say today? You got to be on fire when you come in there. And you be ready to rub them feet until they warm and rub them legs until they warm, and you rub them arms and hands until they warm, and you rub that head until they warm, and you start increasing that person's heat energy, and then you'll see that cancer don't like to live in high temperatures. So then go high in the temperature. See, fever is a good thing because it's your body's way of cranking up that immune system to put a little bit more oomph in it. And y'all don't know how to crank up your immune system, okay? Y'all don't know how to crank up your immune system. Keep tapping, you guys. I'll keep talking. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking. You guys, I did bring just a little bit of a receipt today. All right, I did bring just a little bit of a receipt. Yes, getting in the sun. Pin that question for me. Pin that question for me right there. They said something about Pat said, would a sauna or getting in the hot pool help? Yes, that's why they did that. You know, they take you, when you go on these retreats, that's the first thing they do. They put you in thermal waters. Some of y'all may call it the sulfur pools, right? The sulfur pools, the biggest thing about the sulfur is not the sulfur, it's the heat. Some of you, when Dr. Sabi, when you go to Usha Village, there was a thermal pool there. You see, so everybody's trying to get your temperatures up, okay? And everybody is using light to do this, okay? So when you look at chemotherapy, that is heat, that's chemical heat, burning everything up. It's acidic, which is what I just showed you. So they're using heat energy to take out all of your cells and hope that they'll come back and respond in a balanced way, a homeostatic way. Radiation is a heat wave. So now you gave me chemical heat, then you give me a heat wave, and then if you use a laser to do anything, then you got a light heat, a heat with a light on it. And then if you know anything about nanotechnology, they call the nanotechnology that was in the COVID or whatever you want to call that was called Lucifer because it had a light on it that can have heat come out of it. It was some of the technology they're trying to use for your cancer research, but they put it in all other stuff now. But it's a nanobot that is basically Lucifer, meaning the light. It has a light on it that will emit heat right at the cancer, which is what they were trying to do. But now at the bottom line is they're using heat to heal you, and you can do the same thing with these foods and with these outside nature-based intervention activities that we give you with your owner's manual. That's why the owner's manual is the most important manual on the planet right now, and this is the most important information that you can get. Ain't no herbalist talking to you like this. All right, now, biological environment of a cell. All right, so we know you got the water element, right? So this would be considered the intracellular and the extracellular fluid or interstitial fluids of the cell. So the fluid on the inside of the cell and the fluid on the outside of the cell, we call that the water element of the particular biological. So I'm just trying to tell you about changing environment, right? Remember, we're always teaching you, right? So now the medium of life, right? That water is called the medium of life. Cytoplasm inside. So that's what we're trying to get you to understand is in that water, that's the environment. That's what we got to be trying to do. Now, I'm going to put you on game in a minute. Now, also, you're going to need nutrients and gases, right? In order to control the environment of the cell, you need to also focus on nutrients and gases. So you got your glucose, your amino acids, oxygen needs to flow in and waste needs to flow out. So if you got a hard time breathing, or if you're sitting over there hyperventilating, or if you're sitting over there got blockages in the lungs and stuff, and you can't get enough airflow in, that's going to be a problem with changing the environment. I'm going to tell you that. Okay, if you over there and you can't get glucose into the bloodstream or something going on with your regulation of glucose, that's going to be a problem with changing the environment of your cell. Okay, and then also we understand that these peptides, right? We told y'all about the peptides, so that's going to be your amino acids and all that type of stuff. Then you got the pH and the temperature. We told you about that already. And then last but not least is this extracellular matrix, like scaffolding that also bonds chemical signals, that sends chemical signals, right? So again, now you got to make sure that your water and everything is consistent enough, that the consistency is there enough to be able to send these electrical and chemical signals throughout the body. That's the environment of the cell. Now watch this. Watch this. Let me pull that one now. Let's see if this one pop up. Okay, heat energy in the body. So we just told you biologically, okay, about cellular metabolism, right? All the time that your cells is breaking down this, what you call food, okay, it is breaking it down and converting 60% of it into heat energy. 60% of everything that's happening inside of that cell, ATP, all of that, 60% of that, up to 60% is heat energy. That's your cellular metabolism. You can't lose that. We need that, okay, in order to be able to heal you. All right, muscle activity. I told you guys that you can exercise and you can do shivering. Obviously, anytime you move your muscles, that's going to create heat energy within you. That's why exercising has always been key, has always been good, because it, at least on that point, it's going to produce the heat, but it's also going to produce the acids. So you got to have a proper balance, okay? The brown adipose tissue. Again, this is what we call non-shivering thermogenesis, meaning that this is a way that you can burn or create heat energy without doing all that muscle twitching and shivering. Okay, you do it with your body fat. All right. Then you got the hormone regulation. We told you guys about T3 and T4, and we told you about adrenaline also increasing the heat energy within the body. If you know anything about metabolism, when you increase the heat, then you can lose the weight, keep the weight off. So if you're trying to lose weight, increase the heat energy. If you're trying to lose weight, increase your heat energy. Now, I just told you that exercising increase your heat energy amongst some other things too, right? So even when you're looking at the Buddhist monks used to practice a thing called, I think it's called Tumo. I think it's called Tumo, or Tumno, or something like that, right? So forgive me if I spelled that wrong. That ain't nothing but a practice of you meditating and increasing your heat energy. That's all that is. So these folk already understood how to move this energy. So this is an old ancient name of a practice thousands of years ago where they can increase their body energy. And I bet you they used to do it because, you know, in Tibet and all that, it get cold out there. China, Korea, it get cold out there in some of them countries y'all don't know nothing about. Now, and so in some of these instances, you got to have a technique of how to increase body heat or you might die in some of these places. So some of these techniques are very useful, not just for cold weather situations, but they can also be useful for cold situations that are creating stagnation or creating something in your life. Now, stagnation, get back onto your esoteric understanding. This is where you're at in your life. Some of us are stagnated when we look talking about our money. Okay, now look at this esoterically, YouTube and TikTok. So we're saying that the heat energy is going to be your solar plexus, right? And your solar plexus is all about willpower. I like to call it self-control. So you'll see that self-control either is going to be the thing that creates the heat energy or it's going to be the thing that cools your body down. So if you don't have self-control, you can be doing things that'll cool you, that'll stagnate you, because you're not looking at what you need. So if I'm made of a little fire, if I'm made of a little earth, and if I'm made of a little water, and if I'm made of a little air, then I got to understand that I got to keep a proper balance. I can't get too fiery. I can't get too watery. I can't get too dry. I can't get too wet. I can't get too cold. I can't get too hot. Otherwise, I'm going to cancel something out. 4-part harmony that has to be worked into a oneness. Okay? And when you start to understand this dynamic, it gets very easy then to learn how to heal yourself. I told you cancer don't like high energy. Well, viruses don't like high energy. Bacteria don't like high energy. A lot of the funguses don't like high energy. A lot of the, what else you got? Parasites ain't gonna like high energy. So then you just gotta learn how to get the light within me. So that's gonna mean a proper balance of what? Amount of light you put in your body and the amount of waters that you, how your waters are working to absorb or reflect the light that you're putting in. Let me repeat that one more time. What this means instantly is that now you have to balance the amount of light coming into the body. Well, we know we can get light in. We can open our eyes to get light. We can also meditate to get some light. We can also eat foods to get some light. We can drink natural spring water and well water to get some light, because the things that are in those foods and waters is going to be light, because those are the minerals. Okay, the salts from the earth, right? So no, we're gonna get light from the nutrients. We're gonna get light from the food, the water. We're gonna get light from meditating. We're gonna get light from being outside. Light, the people around us is going to enlighten us, creating light, right? And so that we can shed light on some of these dark spaces in our life, dark things that, and dark spaces in your life don't mean nothing but where you're ignorant at, things that you don't know, things that you've been ignoring. The root word for ignorance is ignore. But you need somebody that can shed light on that ability to ignore, or on that particular thing that you don't know, so that you can get over this hump that's stopping you from graduating from poor to rich, that's stopping you from graduating from student to teacher, that's stopping you from graduating from sick to healed, that's stopping you from graduating from single to married, that's stopping you from what your desired end is. There is an obstruction. There's stagnation there. You've been cooled down, and you've been cooled down on purpose. Dumbing down is a cooling down. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're understanding what this means. So meditation is absorbing the light. Okay, eating the right nutrients is absorbing the light. So we tell you to go microgreens. Why? Because microgreens, they had about 7 to 10 days. So, you know, and you got to think about it like this. How much energy do you think it requires for a seed to do this first? You know how much energy it requires for that seed to sprout down and then sprout up through the dirt and create the two leaf or the true leaf stage? You know how much energy that got? because it's just now starting to absorb the light. It just now turned from yellow to green. It's like a baby. It's yearning to grow. It's got so much life, so much energy at the baby stage, at the microgreen stage. You had so much more potential then than you got now. And so here is where you eat your food, because it's able to absorb the amount of light it needs because it's growing. You don't want something that's already it finished growing. You call it right. But see, we don't know how to think. We don't know how to think. You see? You don't want the young banana, you want the old banana. You don't want the green tomato, you want the red tomato. Red tomato, dead tomato. That's why it's fried green tomato. Learn how to eat the green tomato, the green. Fermentation made it red. Did you not know that? Fermentation made your tomato red, but it's the green. Is when it's growing. The red is when it's reached its peak. Why would I want you at your peak? Yeah, you might be sweeter, but do you carry enough light energy for me? I'm just looking for the light. You just should be trying to absorb light, enlightenment from everything around you, including your foods, your co-workers, your community, and including yourself. Any other questions? How can I balance the acid after a workout? The best thing that you can do to balance out acidity after a workout is going to be to drink, obviously, plenty of water, but you want to make sure you're drinking coconut water, right? To balance out yourself after workout, coconut water is the best water. To balance yourself out after a workout, coconut water is the best water because it will give you the electrolytes. It's a replacement of what you just drained yourself. So the best water after a workout is coconut water. All right. Once we get to 50K, you guys, we will start the question and answer. This is going to be engagement Sunday. So we'll be able to engage our audience, man. I just want to be able to help you out in the kind of way I can. How to get rid of the extra heat? I have psoriasis. Okay, so that's a good question. Thank you very much. Now, same thing I just told him. Okay. Now, I'm not saying coconut water is going to be the end all be all because we don't understand exactly everything you got going on, but it's this alkalinity, right? Acids, you're too heat. So you need more alkaline substances in the body. Alkaline don't mean go down to the grocery store and look at a tag and say, it said alkaline. Hell no, don't you do that. My alkaline, it ain't on the label. My alkaline, you're going to have to learn what's natural. Alkalinity means what's natural to the planet. Okay? So I ain't telling you to go to no store and buy nothing on it say alkaline. Well, you said I need to do something alkaline. Yeah, I need to learn what alkaline is. It ain't got a label. It ain't on no label. Alkaline is natural spring water that comes from the natural springs. Alkaline is well water. And you can't label well water and natural spring water with no alkaline. So you got to understand what that means. It means that it has food inside. Okay? It means that it has food inside of it. Okay? Water has food in it. Your food got medicine in it, which is the nutrients, and your water should have medicine in it, which is nutrients. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and see what we got because we got a lot of people coming in. How to get rid of gout. Again, another question about acids. Gout means that you've gotten too much uric acid. That means that your kidneys is not balancing well all the acidity you got going on. So your first cue when you got gout is the question why your kidneys ain't continue. Your kidneys been dealing with uric acid. So all of a sudden uric acid down in your foot, that means your kidneys is not dealing with this uric acid anymore. Now you got to ask yourself, why are you producing so much uric acid? What are you doing in your diet? What are you doing in your lifestyle? If you can calm down the uric acid build up in the body and allow those kidneys to start to properly filter, then you wouldn't have gout anymore. That means that you're going to have to stop certain stuff, like them fried foods, like this acidity and all these foods that you're eating. You get mad and you being angry. Gout got a lot to do with grumpy and shit too, being old grumpy some bit. So you got to watch out for all of these emotions because these emotions are send you in the kitchen cooking shit that you ain't got no business eating. When you feel a certain way, you'll say fuck it to the stuff that you know you shouldn't do to as far to your body. just to cope with the feeling. It's plenty of time people be like, man, I ain't studying what the doctor say today, but go get me a 20p lemon pepper and some fry, and make sure you put the lemon pepper on the fry too. And Cuz got triple bypass, taking 4 high blood, but he just mad today. He gonna take it out on himself though. He ain't finna go up there and hurt no doctor. He ain't finna go up there and hurt the person. The bill payer, you ain't finna go hurt the bill pay, so you take it out on yourself. This is the way we've been doing it. All right. If you want to come up on the chat, put me into the chat and we'll bring you on live. All right. If you want to come up on the chat, put me in and we'll bring you up live. This is engagement. Is colon hydrotherapy and compression therapy a good spa treatment? No. In my opinion, no. I don't think that you should be, because the thing about it is, if it's going up, if it's going in the wrong way, I don't like that, because that's not a place of entrance. That's a place of exit, right? And so anytime that we start engaging in things that go against what the human pattern, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. I'm so simple with this. If they didn't do it in year 1, don't you do it in year 2025. And you might be all right. And you know damn well we ain't putting nothing up in nothing, talking about nothing. Everything coming out. If you go back to year 1 on some of this stuff, it makes sense. Juicing and being you're juicing your fruits, juicing your vegetables, you're blending up everything. I mean, come on, man. It sounds good. It feels good. They taste good. But the reality of it is that that's not natural. Wasn't nobody juicing. You eat these things. Whole foods is a part of you keeping your homeostasis. Whole foods is a part of you keeping your homeostasis. Movement is also a part of you keeping your homeostasis. Meditation is also a part of you keeping your homeostasis. Sleep is also a part of you keeping your and here's the thing, all these things have something to do at some point or another with this heat energy that we're talking about. Meditation, you got to use more muscles to stay still than you use to move. Well, guess what? Heat energy. Okay? Listen to what we're saying. Sleep is producing the melatonin. That's the light. Movement is going to be what? Producing the heat. So that's why you see in Japan living longer than some bit. Out there 80, 90, 100 years old, moving slow. Because it ain't about moving fast. It's just about moving. But we want to retire over here at 60, 70, 52, ain't got nothing else to do, don't want to do nothing else. And you sitting in a boo-boo position all day. You ain't boo-booing all day, then why you sitting down all day? Move. Create the heat energy. You'll lose the weight. Create the heat energy. You'll burn the cholesterol. Create the heat energy. You'll burn the fat. Create the heat energy. You'll burn the sugar. Create the heat energy. Go ahead, man. Welcome to the HerbMan Show. How can I help you?
Hi, thank you for letting me come up. I've been having some problems with the fibroid tumor. And also, I'm guessing also I want to ask you about the heat as well. Like whenever I go outside, I'm having like, it's like I can't really, my body temperature is like really not adjusting. I don't know if I'm keeping it too cold where I live at inside and when I versus outside in Texas.
You keeping it too cold. When I come back,
okay, because I'm burning up with a fever.
Yeah, see, you keeping everything too cold. Then you drinking too much cold water, too much ice water. You eating too much raw fruits and vegetables. Because what you're doing is you're cooling down your body, thinking that that's what you're supposed to do because you in Texas and you starting to mess with. See, now if you put your hand right here, now you ain't on your screen, so you fine. If you put your hand right here at your lower abdomen, that means that right on top of your little pubic area right there, right? If you got a fibroid tumor, that should be hot as hell right about now.
Okay.
Is it hot? Touch it.
Not that hot. No, not at all.
So right here, when you put your hands right over top of yourself, right there. So you know where the tumor at? You know where the tumor at?
They said that it's like inside my uterus. It's like not outside, but inside of it.
Oh, you talking about they say? Okay, so you don't really know. You going on what they say. So you don't really
Right,
know.
exactly.
Yeah, them folk could just be telling you that. So you know what I mean? Now, are you having any symptoms? Are you having difficulty during intercourse? Are you having elongated cycles? I mean, there should be some
I am.
symptoms there.
Right.
Okay.
I am having like super long, heavy cycles. 40 years old. Yeah,
Okay.
my cycles are very long and heavy.
Okay, so now go back to what we were just talking about. Do you sit in the air conditioned spaces a lot? Do you drink a lot of cold drinks? Drink a lot of wine, stuff like that? Do you do a lot of fruits and vegetables? Trying to eat healthy, claiming you're eating a lot of salads and raw fruits and vegetable juices and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. And I did a lot of fasting as well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
You're cooling your body down, sis. So basically, what's happening is your uterus caught a cold, right? So if it catch a cold here, all you got to do is just try to heat the area back up, heat the environment back up. So what we always recommend, obviously, for dissolving any kind of scar tissue, any kind of polyps, I'm always going to turn y'all toward, fenugreek, stuff like that. But then you can also mix in a little bit of castor oil. So you'll put a castor oil. Basically, you'll get your cold pressed castor oil. You'll put it on the rag. Now, castor oil is very thick, so with this, putting this on this rag, you gotta kind of be a little bit more free with it, okay? Because you gotta get drenched, right? You just make your little oil rag, put the oil rag right over that spot we just said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before you put it on, what I want you to do is I want you to get a ginger paste, right? So ginger powder and some water. And all you're trying to do is make a paste. Okay. So you need a little bit of water, a little bit of powder. You're just trying to make it paste. And then you're gonna massage that into that lower abdomen area. Okay. You massage it in. And then if you got a heat pad, we're gonna go ginger rub. We're gonna go castor oil soap rag. We're gonna go something to tighten it down so you can have your little saran wrap.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go heat pad.
Okay.
Bim by the boom. A month or two, the fibroid should come out in your cycle.
Oh wow. Okay.
But look, but you got to stop all that other shit though. All that cool air conditioner, the silence, the fruit, because you don't. Most of that, if you don't really intelligently know what you're doing, and since we just here talking freely right now, I ain't really all in your diet, so I'm just gonna say stop everything raw, stop everything with ice in it, stop the wine drinking, warm yourself up.
Okay.
Just think that. He told me to heat myself up. Now, it's going to be ugly because people in Texas and people, you got to do this during the summer. But again, if you think about what I'm doing, if you do this, that means you're going to be doing what? Sweating in the bed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that means that when you sweat, you got that temperature up, that immune system going to do it. And your immune system will kill that foreign thing in your body called a fibroid tumor. All we're doing is just getting your body to do it, baby. Your body does it. You just got to know how to get it done, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Peace. All right, peace.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Is there anything I can take? Go ahead and take it down for me, moderator. Is there anything I can take to increase my white T cells? Yes, there are plenty of herbs that you can take to increase cells, okay? One of the biggest ones is going to be astragalus, okay? A herb called astragalus. Astragalus, okay? Astragalus is a very good herb to help you with all these types of things. Okay? Now, another thing too, when you're looking at your thymus gland, because that's your thymus gland. That thymus gland sits right behind the heart, or sits right in front of the heart, or however you want to call it, and it represents fertility, and it also represents immunity. Okay, now it does shrink as you age out of your child-rearing years. So that means that as you age, you're automatically going to have to make sure that you're boosting your immune system. But in order to produce this stuff, you got to understand what feeling that is attached to, what emotion is that attached to, and that's normally grief and depression. That's why you'll find that people who are dealing with loss and sadness, who've been hurt in life, can tend to come down with autoimmune diseases or immune system issues or respiratory issues because of that thymus. Okay. Vertigo is just nothing but, for me, it's obstruction of the airways. Okay. There's some obstruction to the airways, man. So you may have a blockage that you need to go in there and look at if you got vertigo. Mucus in the lungs. What can I do? Okay, again, we're talking about inflammation. That means that you just too acidic. Okay, so it's something that you're doing, whether you're smoking or whether you're eating something or drinking something that's causing this particular thing going on in your lungs. Okay, so you want to do a lung detox, get a lot of that mucus out. One of the best herbs to remove mucus is not mullein. Mullein is a lung toner, meaning that mullein is to strengthen your lungs. It's to strengthen them. That's when you got weak lung, you go to mullein. But when you're trying to get excess mucus out of the lung, then you got to understand the scientology, or you got to understand the etymology of these herbs. And so you need an expectorant, something that's going to make you cough up the mucus out of your lungs. And so that tends to be a little bit more of elecampane. Okay, so you got mucus in your lungs, get an herb called elecampane. All right, if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, you can bypass all of this guesswork. If you're interested in your owner's manual, DM me and we'll get you the information that you need. How do you balance hormones during menopause? That's the thing about it. If you got menopause, then you have unbalanced hormones. Okay, if you are dealing with premenstrual cycle, that means that if you are dealing with PMS of any kind, or if you're dealing with menopause, this automatically is letting me know that you are hormonally imbalanced. Okay, so it ain't how do you balance hormones during menopause. You are already hormonally imbalanced to get menopause. If you are dealing with PMS or menopause, these are automatic indicators that your hormones are unbalanced. Okay, all right. So you got to understand that so what you got to do is, because you done got here now because of imbalanced hormones, you got to balance your hormones. But I mean, if you're on menopause, that means that your estrogen levels are going low. The first thing I would tell you to do is watch your calcium. Over time, if you don't watch your calcium levels drop with your estrogen levels. Over time, if you're not careful in watching this, a lot of women come down with osteoporosis or osteoarthritis or some type of bone deterioration disease because of the lack of calcium being produced, because the estrogen has started to bring itself down. So what you're going to have to do, because you've already hit this point and the estrogen is already going down, then that means that you always need to make sure that you're keeping that estrogen up. And that's just about keeping your femininity at an all-time high, keeping your sensitivity, your sexuality at an all-time high. You understand what I'm trying to say? You got to stay in the game. Okay, you stay in the game. That's part of it. And then secondly, you may have to be taking things like Vitex, Chasteberry tree. You may need to go to a Shatavari. Okay, those two would probably be the best two. And then one more, just as a kicker, if you can't get nothing else, I would say kelp. Kelp is a very good hormone balancer for the women. Okay, and plus because it's a seaweed, I would highly recommend you do your research into that too. All right. How to raise progesterone. You gotta be careful with that progesterone, okay? Because you start getting your progesterone out of whack, then now you start getting into infertility modes where you're having miscarriages all over the place. A lot of miscarriages are due to this progesterone levels not doing what it needs to do at the proper time. A lot of miscarriages are due to women having progesterone levels that are not in their normal ranges, okay? So be careful with messing with stuff. Okay, what you want to do is get something that handles the whole body. So for women, Vitex, Vitex, is the top herb for women's hormones. Shatavari is 1B. So you got 1A and you got 1B, and then you got kelp being the number 2. Put them 3 together, you got a great hormonal balancer. What do you think about maca? Maca can also be a very good one. You can slide maca in there too as well. But the only thing about maca is that if you're not, you got to be very careful with maca because it can really increase your fertility and you can start having babies and stuff like that. So it's just all about what you're trying to do. Them 3 would be my fundamental basis. Then you can add and take away based on what it is that you want to do. You can add maca, you can add bee pollen, you can add dunquay. If it just all depends on what you're trying to do, especially if you're dealing with difficult menses, if you're dealing with irregular menses, okay, then you can add dunquay to that. Okay, if you're dealing with just PMS, then you can add red raspberry to that. Okay, if you're dealing with all kinds of other little stuff that y'all be menopause, then you can add black cohosh to that, right? So y'all women got so much, but those would be my 3 fundamental, and then it would just be whatever it is that I need to add on. Fertility, maca. Menopause, black cohosh. Want to having a baby, maca. If I want a difficult menses, irregular menses, dunquay. On to those 3: Vitex, Shatavari, and kelp. My daughter has a lot of autoimmune disorders. What can she do? She has a lot of them. So what happened to her for her to be able to have this many? How old is the daughter? I need to know all of that. I would recommend, Miss K, you get the honest manual, okay? For a funky measly $50, you give me your birthday and we'll help your daughter out, okay? That's all. You guys are interested in the honest manual, please DM me, all right? But the biggest thing about the daughter is she holding on to some hurt? Somebody hurt her, or she's hurt somebody and she's dealing with that grief. Somebody hurt your daughter, Miss K, or your daughter hurt somebody and she's dealing with that grief of that particular situation, and that has caused her that, unless you passed it on to her from birth. So it's one or the other. It's either something going on with her or something went on with you. So you might want to really talk to her and go back, Miss K, go back to the time of the diagnosis. You'll have a really good picture of when it happened. All you gotta do is ask her when she started feeling this stuff, when was her first diagnosis, when did she start feeling that, and then I guarantee you a year or 2 before that diagnosis of them feelings, that's the problem. A year or 2 before she started being sick, that's the problem. All right, you guys want to come up on the chat? You can put me in the chat. You can come up. Erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is a nervous system issue. Amazing. Amaziah Israel. The thing is that you're not into it. Amaziah Israel, you're not into it. Okay? You're not into it. Your mind is all over the place. You're doing all kind of stuff. So you're not being turned on, and you're not being whatever, and you're requiring too much to be turned on. So now we got to ask ourselves, why isn't the simplest things turning me on anymore? And why am I not being turned on by the simplest things? Could mean that you could be having a little overage of sexual appetite, right? You could be doing some things behind the scene, like masturbating or something like that, that's exasperating your energy, okay? Because if you ain't had none and somebody ready to give you something now, hey, I ain't had none, it ain't gonna be no dysfunction. Here you talking about. So it's either you're going too overboard with your sexual appetite and desires, causing a drain of energy, or you don't went too far over there and you can't imagine her the way that you're seeing those people on the TV. Look, those people on the TV are not real, okay? Your old lady is not that star on TV. Okay, the person that you go into school with, that you meet at the grocery store, these people are naturally not those people. Yeah, they freaks, but they're not like that. Okay, and so you got to get to reality and get back simple with some of the simplest things. That look, she should be able to wear a moo, and you should be able to say hum hum hum. Some toes and some fingers is all I need to see. So my point to you is that you got to get back to the simplest things of what turns you on, my brother. Amaziah Israel, okay? Okay? It ain't erectile dysfunction, it's a nervous system, bro. Your brain all over the place. You get back to focusing and you'll do your thing. Low T. All right. If you're dealing with low T, Polo, that just means that either you're not exercising, okay? Either you just don't throw exercise and clean out the window, or either there's some kind of issue going on with you hormonally. Okay. If there's a hormonal issue going on that started this, or you just got into this hormonal issue, either way, we can start helping you out with one major herb. Okay. Start out with ashwagandha. Okay. Start out with ashwagandha, and then we'll work our way on up. Start out with ashwagandha. Then I will also say add in a little bit of your I just had this herb at the tip of my alfalfa. Okay. Do some ashwagandha, add in a little alfalfa, and then go do some workouts. Go get yourself back working out. When you go and get yourself back working out, The alfalfa is going to help you like a pre-workout or a post-workout. So it's going to give you some of those nutrients, but it's also going to help out with the ashwagandha. And then you're going to have yourself a nice little nutrient, hormonal, testosterone kind of building thing if you put it with ashwagandha and alfalfa leaf. High blood pressure. High blood pressure. Again, you guys, y'all are asking me about stuff that's dealing with y'all life. Okay, you got high blood pressure because you got some things going on in your life that's getting on your nerves, that's causing you to have anxiety. Okay, that's why you got high blood pressure. Now, when you remove the thing that's causing you this anxiety, your blood pressure will go back down. But if you never don't, if you ain't gonna do it, then yes, we do got something for blood pressure for you. Just go and DM me, and we'll get you the herbs that you need. Arthritis, how to cure it? You got to cure it with life. Okay, you got to cure it with life. You gotta sit your ass down somewhere. How you gonna cure arthritis if you're gonna keep working the kneecap? You gonna keep walking on it? You gotta be able to sit your ass down somewhere to cure arthritis. Can arthritis be cured? Yes, but the first one is sit your ass down somewhere. You can't walk on no goddamn bum knee. So that's why I try to tell y'all gotta fix y'all life on some of this stuff. So it's gonna be funny, but we're gonna keep it rolling. I'm gonna keep on trying to help y'all. Good morning. Is the oil of oregano capsules work? No. Take oregano tea. Do not do oregano oil. First of all, that's too extracted, it's too potent, and it's too acidic. Yeah, it'll kill a parasite. It'll also put a hole in your gut. Anemia. Anemia, the best thing for anemia is going to be chlorella. Okay? Chlorella. A herb called chlorella is the best one for anemia. And then you can also add some sorghum bicolor, which is the sheath, the sheath of the sorghum. Okay, that will also boost your iron. If you got sickle cell anemia, that'll cure you of that as well. But y'all gotta know how to get y'all hands on this stuff, man. Y'all gotta know how to get your hands on this stuff. Shavon, ringing in the ear is going to be an obstruction somewhere of the air. Remember, I told you that tinnitus, vertigo, all that stuff got something to do with your blood flow going to your head. Okay, so if you've been dealing with migraines, if you got high blood pressure, so Shavon, if you got high blood pressure and then you told me you got ringing in the ear, come on now, we know that you ain't getting no blood flow. But one of the best herbs for that is going to be ginkgo biloba. Okay, ginkgo biloba will be very good, or ginkgo biloba, whatever y'all want to call it, but I call it ginkgo biloba. Let me see now. Spirulina, I use spirulina for cholesterol. Irritable bowel syndrome, that's another one right there, Amaziah. That's another one that we're talking about, grief and depression, okay? You've been hurt by somebody hurt you, you're still dealing with the grief of that loss of that situation, and that is what's causing for the irritable bowel syndrome, okay? So that's inflammatory issues. Inflammatory means immune. All right. So the best herb for the guts, you guys, the best herb for the gut is going to be a herb called, you can put these three together or you can put these two together. But I would say three. Anytime you're dealing with any kind of gut issues, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, dealing with lupus, and it's got something to do with your gut. If you're dealing with a leaky gut, gut permeability issues, absorption issues, you're dealing with constipation, all that, you need to mix marshmallow root with some slippery elm, and then you also need to put in there some fenugreek and have a nice day and thank me in the morning. Best herb mix to cut weight is to stop eating. Chi-Town Chevy, we ain't finna go through all of that about losing weight. Y'all ass need to stop doing what you got to do, man. Ain't nobody finna give you no herb to cut no weight. Stop eating. How to discern what's a life fix versus a medical fix. How to discern what's a life fix versus a medical fix. What you mean? There's no such thing as a medical fix. So alternate, there you go. Trying to figure out what you're talking about with a medical fix. There's no such thing as a medical fix. It's all life fix. You fix your life, you fix the issue. What is the recipe or an amount of each one of them, please? Luna, pay me. Pay me, or you do the research on yourself. That's how I did it. I did the research on myself. I didn't pay nobody. I just use all you gotta do is give me the herbs. You give me the herbs, I'll put it together and I'll work on myself. It's science. Herbs ain't gonna kill you. Practice made perfect. Y'all learn how to do this stuff like I did. Don't ask me how I did it. Do it like I did it, and then you'll know how I did it. I did it by doing it. To regulate the vagus nerve to bring high cortisol down. Yes, you do the breathing technique and the humming. Okay, if we get to 100,000 likes, I'll show y'all the breathing technique and the humming. All right, because I know that helps a lot of people, especially with sleep and especially with the blood pressure and stuff like that, and with their nervous conditions, restless leg, all kind of stuff. So if y'all want to do that, keep tapping the screen. Once we get to 100,000, we got about 16K more to go. I'll show y'all how to do the breathing, but we already did that on YouTube, so y'all can go there as well and cop that. Congestive heart failure. Look at what it's saying. All we got to do is remove the interference, remove the congestion, and we good to go. So we have a heart cleanse, okay? We have a heart cleanse for you, Bridget Moss, and it's a 7-day cleanse. If you're interested in that, please DM us, and we'll get you that information. All right. Hydradenitis suppurativa. Yeah, I know that has something to do with some water somewhere in your cells or something like that. What's that? What does that do to you? Good. 3, one more time, Doc. Marshmallow, slippery elm, and it's going to be fenugreek seeds. What is the ratio of the ingredient for the concentration that you said? Yeah, man. Yeah. Y'all ask me too much. Ratios and shit like that. Come on, man. Increase red blood cells. Bloodroot. Increase your red blood cells. You can do bloodroot. You can go chlorella. You can go burdock root. You can go sorghum bicolor. Those are to be the ones that I would say go to. But you know you increase your red blood cells every 4 months. So all you got to do is relax and fast for 4 months and don't hurt yourself for toxicity in your blood. And your blood will do it. You don't got to do nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's just all about how y'all want to do it. Marshmallow. I mean, y'all got that digest to regulate high cortisol. We already did that. Any other, which is good for weight loss and appetite suppressant. How to raise low blood pressure. If you want to raise your low blood pressure, then go in there and get you some cayenne pepper. It'll raise it and it'll lower it. Mountain, if you got any kind of balls on your skin, all that's letting you know is that you're dealing with infection. So your immune system is compromised. So you must be taking medications for something else. Are you taking painkillers? Are you taking antibiotics? Are you taking any kind of meds? Because some kind of reason your immune system is any kind of ball, no matter where it is, any kind of ball come up under your arm, come up between your legs, come up on your booty. It'll come up on your arms. It'll come up between your genitals. Any kind of ball is just an indicator that you have an infection in your body. Okay, so we got to be able to fight that. Mountain said I used to, yeah. So it done messed up your immune system. So that's why you can't fight that infection. If it's a bacterial infection, go toward go toward things like your wild indigo, your echinacea. Go toward things like pau d'arco, your chaparrals, and try to see can you get that infection out. Chaparral, pau d'arco, echinacea, stuff like that. Same here, boy, from thyroid medication. Yeah, your immune system get suppressed. Y'all start seeing these balls. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You can't, and you see that she said the same here, boy, from thyroid medication. So I'm telling y'all, you're going to have to get you another option. While y'all sitting here steady buying on TikTok, all these shoes and he got the herb. They told me about the herb that got you out here. Man, you worried about the wrong thing. You worried about erectile dysfunction when you got an infection in your body. You worried about having a baby when you got a digestive problem. Most women can't have kids if you got bad digestion. Most of your infertility issues are coming from you had bad digestion. A lot of you women have been carrying around constipation all through your cycle years because you thinking because I was 13 and it started in my cycle, I just thought it was normal that I can't boo-boo. And some of you boo-booing too much. At the end of the day, the health of the gut of the woman is the health of her fertility. The health of the gut. If you're having gut problems, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have problems having kids. So we got to make sure that the gut, the environment for the baby going to be in the gut. So you got to make sure that environment is cool. As long as the environment is cool, baby going to grow, baby going to go, baby going to do his thing. Okay? So it's the same thing with guys, right? We got to make sure that environment is the place that we need to make the proper concession to see why your body hasn't healed itself already. They claim it's not an infection, but inflammation. I just told you that inflammation and infection both create an immune response, but it ain't. So they're trying to say that your glands are inflamed, right? That's what they're trying to say, that your glands are inflamed. But what glands are they trying to say that's inflamed? Mountain, can you tell me what gland is inflamed? What gland is inflamed? For her, it was her thyroid gland, right? So where's your ball? Because it could just be in the lymphatic system. It could just be in the lymphatic glands, right? Which is where I'm thinking that is at. I have 3 bowels a day, too much. Yeah, it's too much if you're not eating 3 times a day, Phoenix. If you're eating 3 times a day, then 3 bowel movements is good. If you're not eating 3 times a day and you're having 3 bowels, yeah, you're doing a little too much. It should be balanced, right? I eat 1 time a day. I go boo-boo in the morning 1 time. Simple as that. What I go enter, come out with balance. Now, here's the thing. I don't look at what I eat to balance it. I look at what I exit to balance it. So if I realize that all I'm pooping is 1 time a day, then I narrow all my meals down to 1 time. You don't try to make you poop more because you want to eat more. You look at where you pooping at and you dwindle down the eating to get to where you at. You don't try to increase the poop, you decrease the eating. Okay? You don't try to increase your poop. You decrease the eating to match the poop. What's good for eye? The best herb for eye is eye bright. What about cellulite? What about cellulite? That makes sense. Yeah, we still got a little time, you guys. I'm gonna do the deep breathing, but we still got a little time. I switched to the Burbine. You sent me the Burbine or the Burberry. The berberine, which is the barberry root. Polycystic kidneys, same thing. You're having polyps or you're having any kind of cyst growth on your kidneys, then you're going to need to be doing something that dissolves those things, okay? So, but what we're talking to you about is that something in your body is saying grow. So you're doing a lot of growth factors. Now, either your hormones are off and your insulin growth hormone factor and your growth hormones factors are just completely off, or either you're eating too much dairy products, you're eating too much meat, you're eating too much chicken. Beef, the cow is the female version of the bull. So that means that she is going to be induced with hormonal things to produce more and more cows, okay? Chicken is the female version of the rooster. So that means that it's going to be induced. So a lot of people got breast cancer, prostate cancer, and a lot of these fertility issues, and a lot of these growth factors, period. Polyps, cysts, is because you got a lot of hormonally induced foods and stuff in your diet. You eat too much chicken and beef. You eat too much chicken and beef. Then you on the top of that, you want cheese on it. See what I'm saying? So you got too much hormones coming in you, creating this growth factor. On top of that, you're overly stimulated. So now you overly stimulated. You probably drink coffee. You probably do a lot of shit you ain't got no business doing. All this stuff keeps you overstimulated with growth hormones coming into the body. You're gonna get out of whack here in a minute. So now it's just the polycystics on. It's just the mini cyst on the kidneys. In a minute, it'll be a cancer because automatically you're starting to grow shit that's out of function. So we got to put a stop to, excuse me, I need some water. We got to put a stop to that. Okay. And how we put a stop to this growth factor is just like I told you. On one end, you got growth. On the other end, you got protection. That's all your cells know how to do. They can't do both at the same time, you guys. They're either going to grow or they're going to protect you. That's the job. Do you want us to grow something or do you want us to protect you? We can't do both. Okay? Those are the instructions. So a lot of times when you're in suppressive mode, right? Remember that you're suppressing the immune system. So you're not in protection when you're overly stimulated. You're not in protection, thank you, baby, when you're stressed out. You're not in protection when you are scared, feared. When you're not in protection when you're disappointed and hurt and angry and bitter. You're not in protection when you are going through these things. You're not in protection when you're not in balance. You're not in protection mode. Okay? But if you want help with your polycystic kidneys, all you gotta do is Bridget Moss, and we will help you. Okay, get you the owner's manual. You guys, the owner's manual is the best thing on the block. Okay, if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, all we require is your birthday. Okay, your birthday holds a lifetime of information. Your blood test only holds 24 hours. Your hair only holds 90 days. Okay, and then you got some other stuff that may hold maybe a week or two of information in between. But we don't need a stool sample. We don't need your blood type. We don't need your blood sample. We don't need a urine sample. We don't need anything, a live culture. We're not going to prick you, poke you, prod you. It's non-invasive, non-intrusive. All we need is the birthday, holding all of that information, and what we spit out is what you're going to be needing to move through. Now, some of you guys are getting to me at the last moment. I understand. It's going to be a little bit more hands-on approach because y'all are dealing with a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, when we put it all together, your owner's manual is going to have your foods, it's going to have your herbs, it's going to have your spiritual tendencies, your physical tendencies. It's going to have everything that we need to understand about where you at right here at this current position and what we need to do to get you beyond it. We just got to put all of the stuff together. We got to put all of it together. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of y'all, I want to say this because I know I got my people watching for high blood pressure, okay? Anxiety. What's wrong? Why I can't get this blood pressure down is because you can't stop them from worrying. Why the blood pressure won't come down is because they are worried. I told you guys, in men, they attack our nervous system. So most of our stuff is happening through high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, is nervous system. Because you thinking too much, man. So they get us in the thinking and get the woman in the feeling. So most of the women's stuff is fertility issues, whether it be cancer in the fertility body parts or actual issues with having babies from those body parts. You either get a cancer in them or you get some infertility issues in them. The bottom line is it comes through your feelings. So this programmed world that we're living in, when we go against our nature, it's gonna hurt you, woman, when you go against your nature in childbirth, Adam, Garden of Eden. Okay, nervous system, anxiety, high blood pressure, right? That nervous system is gonna hurt you, Adam. So how you gonna till the ground when you can't think? So you have these nemesis that are coming in that are putting chronic stress on the man's mind and chronic stress on the woman's spirit. Any questions? They're overstimulating the man's mind and overstimulating the woman's spirit. And her spirit is her feelings. Y'all will see this in a minute. Just if you pull back and look at the diseases of men, look at the diseases of women, and pull back, you'll see a lot of stuff happening to brothers through nervous system. A lot of stuff is happening to women through the endocrine. Okay. Now we can also obviously get any kind of issues, but I'm just telling you to step back a little bit, and you can see it from the frame and from the prism in which we're trying to get you to illuminate it as. Okay. So now when you're looking at this light heat energy, now you know, okay, how to bring if I got dementia, if I got Parkinson's, if I got autism, how do I bring heat to the brain? Okay. How do I bring heat to the brain? Well, I just told you guys that, right? So we got brain food herbs, right? We got herbs like ginkgo biloba. We got herbs like brahmi. We got herbs like gotu kola that we mix in together, maybe even with a little lion's mane and stuff like that, that'll bring heat energy back up here so that you can get this focus and concentration and all of this back on, okay? But also, we got to look at the gut, okay? Because the nervous system is also going to go correlate with the digestive system because and the immune system, right? So then we got to go to the gut too. Brain heat energy there. Light energy there. Well, how you going to bring light there if you can't go outside without your britches on? If I need to put light on your stomach, some of y'all can kill your fibroids if you just went outside in the sun. But you can't go out there because the law gonna get you. Or somebody gonna peep and Tom gonna get you. Somebody gonna get you, and that's what I'm saying. Your world is not conducive of an everlasting life. This information I'm giving you is for you to understand it and know it. But damn, be sure to know that you can't do this if you don't change the world. This shit is so simple, but the world you live in won't allow you to go back to this simplicity. That's why I'm not charging no more than $50. This is $1 million shit I'm showing y'all. This is some shit I done stuck my foot in, and I know what I got, but I also know how to be a good steward over it. And the good steward is to shout. This is a world changer that has to come with changing of the world in order. This is so simple that you are so programmed that you won't invest $50 because it need to be 50,000. You're so programmed that you won't go outside for 4 hours because your job won't allow you. You're so programmed that you can't make this happen in your work life because you can't petition for it because they ain't gonna let you do it, but you need your money for your house. So you're so weakened and programmed by keeping your world going that you're never gonna have the kahunas to go back to simplicity. The reason why you're dying is because you plumb brain think things are too difficult. You've never known thyself. So that's why I said for most of us, we had to change the world. I was fortunate to be with somebody that saw me doing this for 5 years, so she knew she was getting her ass into it. But for most of us, they don't know you from the can of paint until they met you that day. They don't have no historical context of who it is you was trying to be and what it took for you to get there. So if you're trying to be enlightened and then still trying to date out here, shame on you. Change the world. Because all you're doing, how you going to be in your most high state and then going down there to hell to get a date? Because I'm tired of being lonely, hanging out every night. Sick and tired of being lonely. So you're going to go down to hell to get a date. You in your most high time, but so you so sick and tired of being lonely, you're going to go to hell to get a date. You at your most high time, but you so sick and tired of being lonely that you're going to go down here to make a deal and see you lose your money. So you so sick and tired. So what I'm trying to say is stop trying to get in your most high state by your goddamn self. Bring everybody up to you so that we can all date in our most high state. So we can all deal in our most high state. So that we can all live in our most high state. Come on now. Share. Bring all of us up. Women will go down the mountain to get them a chiseled body. Okay, RG. I feel you. All right. So now we understanding this information and how it's going to correlate to us. So when I say doing these deep breathing techniques that we're about to do, they're gonna be simple, but they fucking work. If you do 4 hours of sunlight, this shit will work. Okay? It will work from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the best time to get the sun that I need for you to get. We're not looking for we're not looking for no ultraviolet. Okay, we need the infrared. So the infrared happens on the sunrise and the sunset. So then the other one is going to be between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. during winter months, and then 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. during the summer. 4 hours. You got to make your job get you this. I just need either 8 to 10 a.m. or I need 4 to 6. I got to go outside. I'll work outside. We'll take the computers outside. We'll something. I got to get out of this goddamn warehouse. I got to go outside, man. I came here at 4 o'clock this morning, 5 o'clock this morning. I miss sunlight. And I'm still in here. And then I went out for 30 minutes. Them niggas smoking back here. I ain't got no good air. I ain't got no good food. I ain't got no good sunlight in this little break room that you talking about, this little break area you talking about. Then you only give me 30, 45 minutes. I need 2 hours of regenerating. I need 2 hours to put back on the battery. When you're getting these 4 hours of sunlight, you're also getting 4 hours of unconditional air, which is going to bode well for your immune system. That's why y'all are sick and allergic, because you ain't breathing outdoors. A lot of you guys are breathing in too much air-conditioned air. So you're getting wet inside. You're getting mucus inside. Just like how your pipes will be, if you got the air conditioner on, it will condense. Right? So now you're sitting up in air conditioning in your car, in your job, at your house. You just in air conditioning in the grocery store. Good, it's so hot out here. Sweat, goddamn it. Pull that makeup off and sweat. Antiperspirants means that your body is going to be against perspiring. You need to sweat. Okay? You need to sweat. So 4 hours of sunlight, 4 hours of unconditional air is what you're going to get in the same time. You see how simple this shit is? This nigga telling us to go outside for 4 hours. This is if you in your last hour. This is if you in your last hour, this will help you. Trust and believe. All right? Then obviously we know you need nutrient-dense food. We already told you what that is, right? Microgreens. Do your research on microgreens, okay? 7 to 10 days, you'll have you something to eat. So everybody can start growing their own food, and you can grow these microgreens in an apartment. You can grow them with a big old yard. You can grow them if you're a bum under the bridge. You don't need no yard. You don't need no land. You don't need no patio. If you got a room, if you got somebody, if you got space beside you, you can grow microgreens. So this ain't about having no land. Now you ain't even got to go buy land to eat good. Now you ain't even got to have no yard to eat good. You ain't got to be living in no house to eat good. You ain't got to know all of this and that to still grow your own food. Microgreens. Go do your research. All right? That's your food. And then last but not least is natural spring water. You got to go find these springs. So if you go Google findthespring.org, you find the spring near you. And it don't matter where you at across the world. You go to findthesprings.org, put your zip code in, and the spring closest to you, whether you're in South Africa or not, in America or not, there's a spring near you. Okay? You go get the water, or you go to your natural water hole, or your drink. Now you drink this water, you do those other 3 things, and then all you got to do here now is this right here. Rest, relax, and sleep. And this is how you heal. But when I say rest, relax, and sleep, you have to do the mind and body. And when you're getting these diagnoses, you can't rest your mind. When you broke as hell and you ain't got no money, you don't know how you're going to live tomorrow, you can't rest your mind. When you went through a relationship situation that you never thought you would be in your life, they're very difficult to rest your mind. When you're so worried about tomorrow, what's going to happen if this happens to me, what's going to happen about this and about that, and men normally take on those responsibilities for the most part, it creating that anxiety, which is that overstimulated, that sympathetic nervous system overstimulation, which is chronic stress, which means that now you can't rest when you can't rest either your mind or your body, both of them, you can't heal. So some of you guys are sleeping, but you're dreaming all the time. You're thinking all the time. You're up all night, even if it's pitch black, even if you did this or did that. You can't cut that mind off, so you're not healing because you're not resting. So I told you it's simple, but it's going to take you to be able to move and shift your life to do it. Now, that's why I said we have to change the world to be healthy, because right now, there's always going to be something plotting to kill you. Because of your most highness, because of your most high consciousness, there will always be somebody vying to kill your most highest consciousness when you are the only one in heaven in a world full of people thinking that this is hell. So you put your target on your back when it's just you. Okay? And what I'm trying to get you to understand is there's a way that we can bring everybody up together, and it is in this community. That's the way we resolve the problem. How about rainwater? Rainwater is okay, but it don't have what it needs in it because the water needs to run through the rocks. Okay? The water needs to run through the rocks. So I think rainwater is overall good for plants, but for you, you need a little bit more oomph in your water. You remember your water needs to be more structured, more food in it, and you get that by picking up those minerals from the riverbanks and from the rocks and from the underground aquifers and things of that nature. How about hydrogen tankers in water? No, don't mess with your water. Don't mess with your water. Let nature mess with your water. Only mess with the water that got processed through nature, not through another man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You are the processor. Then you have equivalent of things processing out here. Just like I was telling you about the seaweeds with kelp. Kelp is a filter of the ocean. Well, seaweeds will also filter your waters. Okay? They call seaweeds the lungs of the ocean. Well, seaweeds are also very good for your lungs. If y'all don't know, Irish moss, number one thing for Irish moss is bronchitis. Way before all this other nutrient shit, Irish moss is very, very effective for tuberculosis. Okay? So it's a lung herb. But you wouldn't know that though, did you? All right. Anybody else? Yes, well water, Twyla. Yes. So much knowledge. Yeah, but we got to try to put it all into a particular design. That's why your owner's manual is the best information that you can get, you guys, because the owner's manual makes it more specific to you. That way you ain't got to worry about your uncle them. You ain't got to worry about your cousin them. And I'm going to tell you this, when you get your owner's manual, you guys, you can't even use that for your children. You're not going to get something to help you help everybody. You're only going to get this to help you help yourself. It's the owner's manual. It only pertains to the person born on that birthday at that time, and that was you. Okay? It allows you, it serves as a guide to allow you to put the pieces of the puzzle back together again to put you back into balance. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is that you can do what I'm telling you to do all the way down to on your deathbed. If you got 1 day left, we can make that time better for you. If you got 1 day left, if I can get you to just give me the rest of your mind's energy, and let's move this and shift this heat energy throughout your body in the way we know the body already does it. So then it ain't like we talking about no spookism or nothing magic. And you give me 5 to 10 people, let me put them around every body part on you. Let us rub heat all into you. Let us create that heat energy. Let us transfer our heat energy into you, and we'll resurrect your ass up off that bed like Jesus did Lazarus. What's this owner's manual? The owner's manual is a program to get you back into balance with nature. Okay, that's what we provide. Is for your little funky measly $50. If you're interested, please DM us and we'll get you that information. What about a pre-diabetic 10-year-old? Pre-diabetics are only nothing but fruits and vegetables. Feed your child more fruits and vegetables. That's all you need. You don't need to go, what is a prebiotic? Why would you go, what you trying to go do? Okay. Uh um Live culture. Live culture should be alive. So probiotics that are in pill form are already a scam on humanity because it should be in a live form. That's why you need to drink kefir milk because kefir got live bacteria in it. That's why you should drink live bacteria in yogurt. Okay, but it ain't no lie. Can't nothing stay alive in no pill. Okay, so let's get away from pill popping probiotics. 50 bucks for the owner's manual. It is not a book. It is a consultation email on you. It is the book on you. I ain't writing no book. It's the book on you. Okay? And all we need is a birthday. Okay? We don't need no doctor's diagnosis. I don't accept doctor's diagnosis. I don't accept self-diagnosis. I don't do none of that. We go back to mama. When we do the owner's manual, we take this back to mama's recommendations and mama's diagnosis. The fallibility of modern medicine today is the diagnosis. Their biggest problem is their diagnosis. And a lot of these doctors are diagnosing you because they want to. Okay? Not because you actually got something, because you could be just out of the range of blood pressure and they're going to think you got high blood pressure. No, you could just be feeling something at the moment, white coat syndrome, whatever. But they know that, but they're going to stick you to that prescription. So one of my point to you is that it is in the diagnosis. They're diagnosing you improperly because they are looking at what you tell them instead of looking at the environment and treating you from a holistic standpoint. So if you ain't gonna treat me in a holistic standpoint, I ain't gonna let you diagnose me, because you're gonna diagnose me, compartmentalize me that way. If you're a holistic practitioner or you're a doctor practicing holistic methods as well, then and you're coming to me about my mental, emotional, spiritual, then I'll let you diagnose me because you gave a full analysis of everything I got going on in my life. You know that I'm going through a divorce. You know that I'm just gonna lose my job. You know that I lost my job. You know that I just got out of prison. You know I'm about to go to prison. You know that I just lost a baby. You know I just had a baby. One of the other is you must know my life. Then you'll see why I may be going through some of these chronic conditions is because I'm in a chronic state of being overly stimulated or understimulated, depending on the circumstance. Frankincense is very good for pain. Okay, but not the frankincense oil. Okay, boswellia. You need to go get boswellia. Boswellia is very good for pain, especially dealing with arthritic kind of pain and stuff like that. I normally put boswellia in there for migraine, headaches, whatever, but you can put a little boswellia. You can do a little feverfew for headaches. You can do a boswellia, a little devil's claw for arthritis pain. You can do a little boswellia and maybe a little bit of white willow if you're dealing with certain stuff, but you got to watch white willow if you got blood pressure issues. Where would you get it from? Get what from? Get your herbs from me. I'm a witness, no surgery needed. Alternate, yes, indeed. I'm a witness, no surgery needed. Oh, yeah, alternate. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Can't fall asleep naturally. You can't fall asleep naturally because of the mind. You're thinking. You're overthinking. So you must be a fire sign, Bridget. I don't know. You must be a fire sign or you're an air sign. One or the other, either fire or air. Can't fall asleep naturally. So when you can't fall asleep naturally, that means that your melatonin is gone. Now, if your melatonin is gone, you know that's your healer, right? Cortisol is your killer. It gives you your killer instincts. It gives you everything, but it'll kill you too. Because if you're chronically producing cortisol, which is what I think they call it, what, hypercortisolism or something like that, then that's what kills us, right? Because that burns out the engine. So the fact that you are not producing melatonin naturally, that is crazy to me because that's your healer. So if you get sick, man, we hope that you don't get sick. Put it like that. I'm going to pray that you do not get sick. You probably got vitamin D deficiencies too. If you got sleep issues and you're not sleeping naturally, they told you were vitamin D deficient too, I bet you. woke up smelling frankincense and none was around. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's me overthinking, can't sleep, Aquarius. Yeah, man, them fires and them airs. Yes, the website is on the link, you guys. You guys can go to the link if y'all trying to get the website. If not, just DM me and we'll get you that information. We almost there at the breathing, you guys. I know y'all ready for the breathing, so we almost there. Okay, we almost there. Let's get us up to about 160. We'll get there. I don't need number 5 minutes to do the breathing. That's why I've been trying to procrastinate, so I can do the breathing as we end and go about our day. Right? We'll do the breathing at the last 5 minutes. Okay, you guys stay with me. I'm gonna show you how to relax your nervous system, how to lower your blood pressure, how to calm your nerves, and how to get you to go to sleep naturally. Okay. Now, what y'all don't know is that breathing can also it's a twofold thing. Breathing can allow for alertness to come in the morning. If you breathe in 30 times, now this is the thing that I gotta tell y'all about breathing, because y'all don't understand breathing. Your posture is everything. You remember I told you when we're sitting down every day, this rest, relax, and sleep. That's what we're about to get to. Okay, the breathing is all a part of the rest, relax, and sleep. Okay, so we're about to get there right now. All right, so go tell somebody. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking. If you're interested in the owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you that information. Now let's go. Now, breathing is all about posture. Okay, remember I told you that you sit down too much in the shitting position. Sitting is for shitting. You should not be like that all day, right? Because that is telling your body something. All right, this position all day, whether you're typing, whether you're driving, you see this position, whether I'm typing, whether I'm driving, right? Whether you're an engineer, whether you're a construction worker and you got an office desk, whether you're a police officer, the police officers sitting down every day at the desk or in the car, truck drivers in the car. You're sitting down. This position is for shitting. Sitting is for shitting. So you're not moving enough, creating enough heat energy. Also, you have bad posture. So when you're sitting like this, a lot of times what seems comfortable is this position right here. Watch this. That's all I did. Ain't nobody sitting in no goddamn chair like that. So you driving like this down the road. What going on, cuzzo? Yes, sir. What going on? I see y'all. Truck driver. See, and what's happening is the breast. I can't pull my shirt up like I want to, but the breast is over the diaphragm of the stomach. Your diaphragm starts right there. Y'all see that little crease under my chest? I got a little crease because I'm still doing my push-ups, y'all. You know, I gotta keep this old age from off me. So you see that little crease? That crease is actually definitive. That's my diaphragm starting right up under my chest. I'm hunched over that. So if you got breast as a woman, that's a little bit more hump. If you got breast as a man, that's a little bit more hump than hanging over that diaphragm, which is now going to interfere in your breathing. Hyperventilation. Hyperventilation is one of the main reasons for why you are acidic, because you're creating too much carbonic acid in the body. Because if you're hyperventilating, you got more oxygen coming, you're keeping more carbon dioxide in. The longer you exhale is the more carbon dioxide that comes out of the body. So when carbon dioxide mixes with the moisture in the air, with the moisture in your body, it turns into what they call carbonic acid. That carbonic acid is another waste that needs to be disposed of your body that you got to get rid of. You can do this easily through exhalation long. So I got to get into the right posture first, and then I need to know how to breathe. How do you breathe? The right posture first. Then you got to go in the nose, out the mouth. How many of you knew that? How many of y'all knew that? In the nose, out the mouth. Why do I want to breathe in the nose? Because I want my nose hairs to do the filtration so that I can have air that's conditioned by my air conditioning, my filters, and not by the air conditioning in your house. Okay? So we want the air to come through the nostrils and not through the belly. So if I breathe in my mouth, all the air is getting trapped in my stomach. I don't want that. I want the air to go through the process, and that goes through the nose, right? That's the proper air you want. In the nose, out the mouth. And then on top of that, now here's the last one, and then we're gonna get there. We almost done. Here's the last one that people don't know. Right posture, in the nose, out the mouth, and this is the biggest one. When you are breathing, a lot of you guys got a tendency to hold your breath. You don't do these deep breathing like that. You're not holding your breath. Some of us got the tendency to breathe in, and you'll stop right there and then tell somebody, breathe out. Don't hold your breath. This is not one of those sessions. Or, put your hand here and hold your breath for 3 seconds, then push out for 4. This ain't that type of breathing. That's bullshit breathing. Okay? I don't want nobody holding one nostril. I need both of my nostrils. Again, go back to day one with some of this stuff. Go back to day one with some of this stuff that they're teaching you. If you knew that day one, if they didn't know it back then, it ain't natural to you. Holding your nose and then holding your breath, who the hell doing that? And they wasn't doing that. They wanted all the, I'm trying to move all the boogers, all the snot. Holding on one nostril. Hell wrong with y'all. Y'all know who made that Ayurvedic. Y'all stop playing with me, Ayurvedic. All right. So now we understand that you don't hold your breath. Do not hold breath. Do not hold your breath on inhalation or exhalation. The reason why is because when you naturally breathe, you ain't holding your breath. When you naturally breathe, if you ain't paying attention, it's a flow. You just breathing in and out. You're not holding your breath at the top of your inhalation, and you ain't holding your breath at the bottom of your exhalation. So it's got to be natural. So when you do deep breathing techniques, it's natural. It's copying your breath. It's just being more concentrated and more focused on the breath. Because the breath is an involuntary action. It's subtle. You don't pay attention to the fact that your ass is breathing to keep us staying alive, but that's what you're doing. Just like you don't pay attention to blinking, but you're doing it. So my point to you is all we doing is just focus and concentrate, but we're not changing anything from an unnatural way to breathe or some kind of exercise type of way to breathe. Cut that shit out. Because if you don't know, oxygen is a dangerous thing to play with. You want to decrease your breathing. This is for us to slow the breathing down, not to speed it up. So we're not finna do all of this. So hell no, we're not with that. We're trying to slow this party down, not speed it up. I'm trying to go to sleep, nigga. I ain't finna try to come in here and do no breathing exercising. No, the breathing exercise you need to do is just learn how to breathe correctly. That's it. Don't exercise because oxygen will kill you. Oxygen is the most combustible thing on the planet that will kill you. See, heaven, you're gonna be breathing at one breath every other minute. That means that there's some peace in that breathing. There's some contentment in that breathing. There's some love, and there's some things that have been established that there's no lack in that breathing. So I ain't got no reason to hyperventilate. I got good posture because I'm laying in the bosom of everything that I understand. I got good karma. I got good understanding. I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't stressed about nothing. I ain't depressed about nothing because I finally got my mind into a place of what heaven is. And heaven is the most highest consciousness while you alive. Heaven ain't a place in your death. And when you understand that heaven is a place you can go to while you're yet alive, you'll find that that's where your abundance is at. That's where your healing is at. That's where all of your people is at. To eradicate the sickness, to eradicate the brokenness, to eradicate the loneliness. It's all in your heavenly mind. Everything that you ever wanted and desired in this world is wrapped up in your heavenly mind. In essence, you just got to learn how to make your dream life your reality here on this planet. Time out for all the excuses. Oh, it's this and it's that, and it's my country, it's my state, it's my government, it's the white folk, it's the black folk, it's this kind of key. Stop. Make your dreams your reality. So we're gonna do this one person at a time. We're gonna change the world one person at a time. Then we all can start to date each other again and start to have utopia when we know everybody's on the same level. Okay? But right now, you need to stop what you're doing. So do not hold your breath at the top or at the bottom. Everybody get that. Put some ones in the chat if you got that. And if you guys are ready to go, we can start this right now. Okay, put some ones in the chat. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Put some ones in the chat. Everybody, if you're ready for this breathing, okay? This is the best breathing technique that you can ever do. All right. First off, this is the positioning. Okay, and we can do this every last 5 minutes if y'all want to. All right. The biggest thing here is to put your hands like this, the palm of your hands. Let me get my YouTube channel. I want them to see it too. Okay, YouTubers. Right? So the best. So I'm like this. I can lay on my back in the bed, or I can be standing up like this. Okay. Now, this is what I want you to do. I recommend. No music, no sound, no guided meditation. Okay. Also, I recommend you close your eyes. Okay, let me write this up here. Okay, so you're going to close your eyes. You're not going to look at anything. I don't want no distraction. And in order to not get any distractions, we also want to close our ears. Okay, so you close your eyes, you close your ears. Okay, so that means that if you got to move your hands outside your side to close them, or if you can put some earplugs in or some headphones in or something that can quiet it down, then cool. What I'm trying to do is when I close your eyes and when I close your ears, I automatically start to now put all of your senses inwardly. Because as long as you can't see nothing, you ain't gonna be distracted. As long as you can't hear shit, all you hear is your breathing. So I instantaneously start to now bring you inwardly. Once I close your eyes and I close your ears, your attention is only can hear or see the inside of you. That's why that's important. Now, when I instantly do that, now we can start the breathing. My eyes are closed. My ears, you imagine my ears being closed, or do I got to do this? I don't know. But if I do, I do it. So my eyes are closed. My ears are closed. Let me stop the music. My eyes are closed, my ears are closed, and we're going to do these 30 deep breaths in the nose and out the mouth. Remember that we're not holding our breath. So we're going to allow these breathings to just flow inwardly and outwardly. If you guys are dealing with spiritual things, if you're dealing with spiritual things, okay, if you are dealing with spiritual things, when you exhale, I want you to release those things. But I need for you to say the words in your mind. Say, I'm releasing guilt. I'm releasing stress. I'm releasing doubt. I'm releasing fear. I'm releasing anxiety. I'm releasing the alcohol. I'm releasing the drugs. I'm releasing pornography. I'm releasing whatever it is. You want to release it when you exhale. Now, if there's something that you're going to replace it with, then you're going to put that in on the inhalation. Okay? So whatever bad that you need to come out of you, come out with the breath. Whatever good you're trying to put in comes in with the breath. Good thoughts come in with the breath. Bad thoughts go out with the breath. Now here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. You're adding humming to it. When you add the humming to it, you quite naturally are elongating your exhalation. Okay. So I know that we like to take deep breaths in, and that's fine. You take that deep breath in, but the way that you can still exhale longer than that is with this hum. The hum is only there so that it can extend our exhalation so that we can get out this carbonic acid, this carbon dioxide. And then also the humming is going to act as a vibratory sensory mode to tell the vagus nerve to start to relax the body. And the vagus nerve sits along this diaphragm. It sits along the heart. It sits along some of these critical body parts. And it's going to tell it, heart, calm down. Breathing, lungs, calm down. digestive system calm down and get this body ready to rest. And that's it. And also that little bit of humming produce nitric oxide. So you don't even got to go buy no nitric oxide, fellas. You produce it with your breathing. You don't need no nitric oxide for your blood pressure. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They selling nitric oxide on TikTok right now, and you produce that with a hum. But you don't know it. So I'm encouraging you guys that if you're trying to learn how to heal yourself, if you're trying to learn how to heal your loved ones, if you're trying to learn how to heal your community, you should learn from a holistic practitioner. You can't blame herbalists. Herbalists sell herbs. They're not required to know the total you. Okay, you can't blame doctors because they're not required. You can't blame the pastor because they're not required. And since now you know that those three positions are not required to understand the whole total you, then stop going to them folk and come on over here to the holistic practitioner and people like me that can service the total you. I love you guys, man, and it's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. Back on tomorrow, same back time, same back channel. Until next time, love her, man. Woo-say! My children done went to sleep on me. Hey, it's Sunday, man. I like to put them to sleep. Hopefully you guys will go to church, man, and learn how to focus and concentrate and get your mind into the most high state. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind simply means if you change your mind, you can change yourself. Peace.